Hi, this is Paul, and in this video we'll be going over how to add an IXW-PBX to an existing IX Series system. The IXW-PBX will allow for an IX Series 2 station to call an outside phone number using either a SIP or an analog trunk. We'll start by walking through the initial setup of the IXW-PBX and configuring SIP settings, adding an extension, registering a SIP trunk, registering an analog trunk, and creating outbound rules. Then, once the IXW-PBX is programmed, we'll make changes within the support tool. Open a web browser. Enter the IP address displayed on the IXW-PBX, followed by :8089 in the address bar, and hit Enter. If you get a security certificate error page, click Continue to the website. Once the login page loads, enter admin as the ID. The password is located on the bottom of the unit. Once located, enter it as the password and click Login. When first logging in, you'll need to follow the setup wizard. The first step of the wizard is to change the password. Enter the old password, new password, and the email address you'd like to use for password recovery. Click Next at the bottom of the page. The network settings will now need to be assigned. Change the method drop-down option to Switch. This will allow us to edit the LAN section of the page. Use the IP method drop-down and select Static. Fill out the IP address, subnet mask, gateway IP, and DNS server below. In this example, we'll be using 8.8.8.8 as the DNS server address. When finished with this step, click Next. On this page, change the time zone of the IXW-PBX to best match your location. The date and time format may also be changed here. Once the correct time zone has been selected and you've chosen your date-time format, click Next. Extensions are how the IX Series stations identify themselves within the IXW-PBX. Once an extension is created, the extension number cannot be edited. For this reason, you'll need to disable the extension range and set the create number to 1. Set the start extension number to the first IX station number and change the SIP password to a custom password. In this example, we'll use AiPhone as the SIP password. When finished with this step, click Next. The trunk/routes will be assigned later in this video, so for now, click Next to skip to the summary page. Review that all the information displayed on the screen is correct and click Next to complete the setup wizard. In this step, we'll be configuring the SIP settings for the IXW-PBX. This will allow for communication between the IXW-PBX and the IX Series stations. From the menu bar on the left, expand PBX Settings and click SIP Settings. On the General tab, we'll need to check the Allow Guest Call field, then click on the TCP/TLS tab and check the TLS Enable field. On the NAT tab, locate the local network address field and enter the IP address range of your stations. Once entered, click the plus icon. An extension will need to be created for each IX Series station that will be registered with the IXW-PBX. The extension number needs to match the station number that is assigned to each station in the support tool. To add an extension, expand the expansion/trunk option from the menu on the left and click Extensions. Click the Add button to the top left corner of the Extensions page. The extension number must match the station number assigned to the IX station in the IX support tool. If it does not, the station will not register with the IXW-PBX. Set the caller ID number to match the station name in the IX support tool for consistency. The SIP/IAX password was assigned during the initial setup. Keep in mind that this password will be required when registering the IXW-PBX in the IX support tool. Once completed, review the fields for accuracy and click Save. The IXW-PBX will allow for a SIP trunk to be used for outbound calls. To configure a SIP trunk, expand the extension/trunk option from the menu on the left and click VoIP Trunks. Click Add SIP Trunk button in the top left corner of the VoIP Trunks page. Use the Type drop-down menu and select Register SIP Trunk. Enter the provider name, host name, username, and password provided to you by your SIP trunk service provider, and leave all other fields at their default values. Click Save when complete. The IXW-PBX also has analog trunk capabilities. To use, plug in a POTS line into one of the FXO ports on the back of the device. To configure this feature, expand the extension/trunk option and click Analog Trunks. At the top of the page, click the Add Analog Trunks button. Once the Create New Analog Trunks page is open, select an FXO port followed by entering a trunk name. Click Save after configuring these settings. For a station to call out to a registered phone number, it is required to create an outbound route rule for the analog trunk. Expand Extension/Trunk from the menu on the left and click on Outbound Routes. Click on the Add button. Enter a name for the rule, a pattern, and select the analog trunk. Keep in mind the pattern will need to start with an underscore followed by an X for each digit in the phone number. Click Save after configuring these settings. This concludes the settings required on the IXW-PBX. Click Apply Changes at the top of the page to send the settings and restart the device. To call a phone number from an IX series station using an analog trunk, the phone number must be registered as a VoIP phone in the Support tool. Open the Support tool and log into the system that needs to be edited. At the top of the page, click Edit and select VoIP Phone List. This will open the VoIP phone registration window. Here you'll need to enter the phone number that will be dialed when a door station places a call. Enter the number and name in the next available row and click Update. A pop-up will let you know VoIP station registration is complete. Click OK. The next step is to register the IXW-PBX to the IX series stations in the IX Support tool. From the menu on the left, expand Network Settings, then click SIP. Enter the extension number in the ID column. This number should match the station number of each device. Enter the password that was assigned to each device in the IXW-PBX Setup Wizard and the IP address of the IXW-PBX. Click Update to save the settings. Now we will assign the newly registered phone number to the door station that will be placing the call. From the menu on the left, expand Call Settings and click Called Stations, Door Substations. Scroll the window to the right and locate the registered phone number and use the drop-down to select U. Click Update to save the settings. The settings file will now need to be uploaded to the stations. Click File from the top menu bar and select Upload Settings to Stations. Select the physical stations from the list and click Settings. The setting file will upload to the selected stations. Verify the status column for a successful upload. It is recommended to export the settings file to make it easier to make future changes to the system. From the top menu bar, click File, IX Support Tool Export System Configuration. Click Export and choose an easy-to-find destination to save the settings to. Click OK. Click Finish when done.